Hello, welcome to this live edition of the Pop Culture Junkie Podcast. We all just watched Spider-Man Far From Home.
No Way Home.
Oh, shit.
I'm definitely far from home.
It is Spider-Man No Way Home. They're far from home. There's no way home. We had a homecoming. There's a home somewhere. We are here at the Majestic Neighborhood Cinema Grill. This episode is going to be filled with spoilers, so proceed at your own risk.
Coming in live from the Majestic Neighborhood Cinema Grill in Chandler, Arizona.
It's the Pop Culture Junkie Podcast.
Hello. As I mentioned, we just saw Spider-Man No Way Home. There's no way home in this one, y'all.
It's live. There's no way home.
It's live. There's no way home. There's no editing. We are the Pop Culture Junkie Podcast. I am joined by my fellow junkies. My name is Shauna. Who else do we got here?
We have Alex.
Hayley.
And Nicole.
And we also have a very special guest for this episode. We are joined by AZ Deadpool, though he is not dressed like Deadpool today. Say hello, Deadpool.
Hello, hello.
So who are you today, Deadpool? Or what do you prefer to be called tonight?
Honestly, you could just go with AZ Deadpool still, even though I am completely dressed like Spider-Man.
Nice.
I feel like Wade Wilson probably has a Spider-Man outfit hanging in his closet somewhere that he just likes to bust out from time to time.
Would not doubt it whatsoever.
I mean, having AZ Deadpool here being Spider-Man just means that we definitely just went through the multiverse. It's real.
It's real.
I mean, even the comics anyway, like there's a whole crossover section of Deadpool and Spider-Man, so I believe it. I believe it's real.
It works. So tell us about you. What does AZ Deadpool do? What does that mean?
Well, it's just simple in the name. I just so happened to take upon the name back in 2016. Thankfully, this was like shortly after, right after Deadpool, the first movie came out. I decided cosplay has always kind of been a thing that I wanted to do. And thankfully, no one else had the name already, so I just went ahead, took AZ Deadpool, and I've just been doing it ever since then.
Yep, that's how you get official. Nice.
Exactly. Yeah. It's cosplay is so much fun. I know 30 Nerdy Thriving could like attest to that too, and everything like that.
Yeah, we've been friends on Instagram for a while, so I was super excited to see that you were joining us on the podcast today. And one of the things that I think is really cool is like how involved and out in the community you are. Like in your cosplay, whether it's at conventions or stores or whatever, movie releases, you're out there all the time. How do you get involved in that kind of stuff? Like, how did you get involved, and what has that experience been like for you?
Honestly, it doesn't just come to me necessarily. I just kind of reach out more so like. For instance, just last weekend, or this past weekend, we went to Atomic Comics, which just reopened and everything like that. I went to them around their first opening weekend that they came back, and we got to talking and everything like that. And they said, like, we'd love to have you back for opening weekend for Spider-Man No Way Home. And so did some talking back and forth there, and was just there this past Saturday. Just hanging around, taking pictures with people and everything like that. It was just a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Other than Deadpool and Spider-Man, are there any other characters that you cosplay?
As of right now, not really. I've kind of just kind of centered myself around Deadpool and Spider-Man, mainly because my favorite color is red, if that's not apparent as itself. But as far as like potential other cosplays, I don't really have anything else other than possibly the newer Spider-Man suit that we saw in the movie tonight.
Yeah. You know, I'm actually kind of curious here because, you guys know each other. So do you know the man behind the mask? Do you know his suit?
No, I've just known him as AZ Deadpool. So it's cool. In fact, I was talking earlier how I feel like you did it the right way because you are the man behind the mask, and I always cosplay characters with my stupid dumb face, and I'm like, I should have had a mask.
I love your
I should have
stupid
had
dumb
a mask
face.
this whole time. I could have been living in anonymity.
It is like kind of funny that way because I can go to like a convention in just normal people clothes and just walk the con floor without anyone really knowing who I am. But there's a small group of people that like I've hung around with and they know who I am and everything.
That's so crazy. So would you do what Peter Parker did if this were to happen to you? Like if
Ooh, good question.
Ooh, would you cast
Would you
the spell?
tamper with the spell?
like seeing the way like it affected him, I probably would, because that just does not seem like a fun life to lead. Like constantly having everything you do like under a microscope, like does not seem like fun.
Yeah, because you can go get some coffee, nobody's like messing with you, like, oh my
Exactly.
God.
And you know what? Not being anonymous, I gotta tell you, is I can't go anywhere.
We just have so many fans here at Pop Culture Junkie Podcast.
I did have a guy at Tempe Marketplace just the other day go, Carol Danvers? And I was like, yes, that is me.
Absolutely. Okay, AZ Deadpool / Spider-Man. Very important question. Mary Jane or Gwen Stacy?
I'm kind of biased towards Gwen Stacy.
Ooh, okay. We're Team Gwen over here.
Absolutely.
I like it.
Nice. And which costume is more comfortable?
I would definitely say like Deadpool is definitely a little bit more comfortable, because it's not as skin tight as Spider-Man. It allows for a little bit more movement and everything like that. So yeah, definitely Deadpool. But
Wow. That's a lot to consider.
it is. But strangely enough, like I do get recognized obviously as Deadpool a lot too in Spider-Man, but I think as far as recognition goes, I feel like for kids, it's definitely it leans a little bit more towards Spider-Man, because just seeing the reactions, that's what like cosplay is really about. It's an amazing feeling.
That's awesome. I'm going to get a picture with you later and show it to my son, and he will lose his mind. He's
You
in his
got to meet
full-blown
Spider-Man?
Yeah, full-blown Spider-Man phase right now. So yeah, that's one of the coolest parts of cosplay is interacting with kids for sure.
Absolutely.
Is there a reason why you're more favored towards Gwen?
I think overall, like besides the comic book character herself, I think that Emma Stone actually did like a better job as like the love interest in Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man as well.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't know, but
This
I'll have
is
to watch
Nicole's
it.
first Spider-Man film that she's ever seen,
I'm a
actually.
great pop culture junkie.
You know lots of pop culture. Speaking of, Spider-Man, I mean, we just got to see, again, spoilers, all 3 Spider-Men interact in one movie, which was absolutely mind-blowing. Do you have, out of the 3, a favorite Spider-Man?
I grew up with Tobey, and I think Andrew Spider-Man like gets a bad rep. The movies like first one was good. Second one was a bit of a mess, but it still had its moments, obviously. But I feel like Tom is like the perfect like combo of both like Peter Parker and Spider-Man, whereas Tobey like was probably seen as not the greatest Peter Parker, but a good Spider-Man. Same with like Andrew Garfield, like he was seen as like just the too cool of a Peter Parker.
Too hot.
That too. But I feel like as Spider-Man, he was able to he was like a very comic accurate, but I think Tom is a good combination of both of those. Yeah. So if I was going to go with favorite one, I'd probably go with Tom Holland.
Yeah, that makes me think about the movie, and like if I kind of feel like they kind of shown that in the movie, because obviously it's No Way Home, it's Tom Holland's movie, and then you get Tobey Maguire coming in and Andrew Garfield, and I feel like that kind of way, like, oh, he's trying to prove himself, Andrew Garfield. Mm-hmm. Like they're like, oh, I'm a little different, but like I'm not, more than just looks.
Yeah, it was cute having that little Easter egg moment where they were like, "No, you're amazing. Listen, you're an amazing Spider-Man." You got to be Spider-Man 3.
I did not catch that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, see,
I felt that whole like
eggs.
Spider-Man love fest conversation was like total fan service.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
I loved it. I was trying not to laugh so hard, but I was cackling the whole time because I was like, "This is like fan fiction playing out on the."
As a fan, you felt serviced.
Yeah.
I feel like that whole with Andrew, like kind of saying like I'm lame. I think that was kind of like criticism that he's taken for his movies over the years. I think that was like kind of
very meta moment.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that. There was a lot of like self-awareness, like when they're making fun of the villains' names and they're making fun of how they became villains and all that stuff. Like I don't know. I appreciate that when it doesn't take itself so seriously.
Yeah.
DC. Anyways.
So, AZ Deadpool, we are obviously the Pop Culture Junkie Podcast. We would be remiss not to ask, what are you watching right now? What are you into? What TV shows, movies, music, besides obviously Deadpool and Spider-Man, are you into right now?
Let's see. Not too long ago, just finished watching Squid Games, finally. Loved it. What else? I think... Trying to think like...
Are you watching Hawkeye currently?
Yes, I am. I'm very excited for the season finale. I'm also wondering with Hawkeye, is this the season finale or is it the series finale? I know they said season,
Right.
but I know for WandaVision, for example, they specified that was the series finale. So I'm wondering.
Yeah, but then Loki got renewed for season
Right.
2.
True.
So
I'm hoping we're going to see a Hawkeye and Kate Bishop or the Hawkeyes or whatever they're going to call them will return in season 2.
I'm hoping so because I know like I've heard like some rumors saying like maybe Spider-Man is supposed to like supposedly show up in this final episode of season 1 of Hawkeye. So
interesting.
Lots of rumor, not to sidetrack to Hawkeye or anything, but the trailer for this finale episode said the universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is about to get a lot bigger, and then it shows Kingpin coming in, and so you're thinking, well, okay, because Kingpin's big, right?
Right.
So it's like a play on that, but also, as we just saw, the MCU has gotten bigger because it has now brought in a Defender, and now we're getting a villain from the Defenders. So it makes me wonder if we're going to see any Defenders showing up, like Matt Murdock in the finale of
If
Hawkeye.
Jessica Jones shows up, I will
Yes,
lose
please.
my shit. Listen, I love her. So did you watch all of the Defenders shows?
I did. I wasn't the biggest fan of Iron Fist 'cause I think that's kind of consensus.
Universal.
Yeah.
Not me, man. I
Yeah,
like
me
you.
too. Thanks, Haley.
I got you.
Luke Cage was good, but out of the 4 of them, my top 2 were Daredevil and Jessica Jones for sure.
I think
Absolutely.
those are definitely top
They're
shows.
the best. Yeah.
I don't know. Luke Cage season 2. Like season 1 I was here for. Season 2 just kind of lost me. I don't know.
They should have done
fair.
Heroes for Hire. They should
that
have.
would've been
That's
amazing.
What's
the
that?
route they should
Heroes
have
for
gone.
Hire?
That's Luke Cage and Iron Fist teaming up.
Oh,
and that's,
yeah.
That's what they. Mike Coulter even said that was like where they were going to head, but then they didn't have the chance to. So I'm really really hoping we get that opportunity. Who knows?
I definitely got that sense in the Defenders though. Like, are we going like the Heroes for Hire route? But yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, we're going to head into some spoiler talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, I'm just going to be very careful about how there's no way home, you guys. All right, let's talk spoilers right after this break.
Hi, I'm Hayley the Brave, teacher and mom by day, cosplayer and pop culture junkie by, well, also by day. I'm obsessed with all things fandom and I love to talk about it. So join me and some of my friends as we geek out about TV, movies, music, and all the awesome things that make life worth living. Listen to my podcast, 30 Nerdy and Thriving, available now on all major streaming platforms.
Hello, Pop Culture Junkie Podcast is back. We are still here at the Majestic Neighborhood Cinema Grill where we just watched Spider-Man No Way Home and we are going to get into some spoiler chat. Okay, so I want initial gut reactions one by one. How did we all feel about the movie? Alex, go.
My chest is all I was holding on to the entire time. I was like, yo, I honestly came in here not really knowing what to expect. Everybody's loving it. I'm like, let me not get myself too like excited because I'm gonna get over there and be disappointed. And it was great the way that all these characters and all these past times, because as AZ Deadpool was saying, like we grew up with Toby and seeing Andrew Garfield. It's really like reminiscent and just all the feels are happening. They there's so many points in there were just like had me. And I think it did a good job in, well, I don't know, because I'm thinking of Nicole, and I'm wondering, how Nicole came in, because, obviously, I mean, Nicole hasn't seen any of them. Sorry, Nicole, to put you out there on a class like that. But to me, it almost felt like I still needed, if I have never met these Spider-Men before, I would need more, I would need to know them, because I only knew them because I knew them. But I wonder, like, if Nicole knew them, like what their backstory was, like what they had to experience. Like, I don't know, I feel like that's part of why I think for me the movie was so great was because it had that connection. But
Yeah. So let's go over to Nicole then. Instincts, gut reactions. How did you feel about the movie?
It was all right.
Oh, shit.
I think, what Alex said, if I had more background and watched the other ones, I would have loved it. But I was just sitting there confused the entire time when all the other whatever heroes, villains, whatever they were, came in. And I was just like, okay, like, cool. You're killing them and stuff, but what does it mean? I have no idea.
What does it all mean?
I was kind of just focused on Zendaya.
I was thinking that too. I was like, Nicole's probably so excited every time Zendaya's on screen. She
love
probably,
her.
She did a great
Do you
job.
ship like her and Tom Holland in real life?
Seeing how they were in the movie, yeah.
Aren't they
And
so cute?
He was just like, he wants to stop acting and start a family.
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
That's so cute.
We'll take a break from acting, not stop acting.
I read this interview. One of the directors of this trio of Spider-Man films told Tom Holland specifically and Zendaya, do not date each other. Because, like, I think, Tobey Maguire and
Kirsten
Dunst definitely dated. Obviously, Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield dated. It's like every Spider-Man's got to date their co-star for a minute.
I mean, this multiverse expands even further from the screen.
How funny.
All right, Hayley.
Yeah, so lots of like nostalgia. It was cool. It was great seeing Tobey Maguire. It's funny, like Kevin Feige, like you ain't slick, dude. Like fans predicted everything. Like I sat down and I was like, okay, Matt Murdock's going to show up and we're going to have the other Spider-Man and all of that happened. And I kind of wish that fans like calmed the hell down and didn't predict everything all
Spoil
the
it
time.
for themselves almost.
Hold on. Matt Murdock was there?
Yeah, he was the lawyer with the red sunglasses in the beginning.
You didn't,
Oh, I was here late, guys. I got here 20 minutes late. I think the whole ram. Like, I was like making a whole rustle here, making all the noise. Everybody was watching me.
yes.
So we just spoiled the first 20 minutes of the movie for Alex.
Yeah.
So they needed a lawyer, Peter needed a lawyer. And so there's a kitchen scene, and the lawyer is Matt Murdock.
Wow. Wow. That's incredible.
It's okay. I was
Right.
confused too. When everyone started, was like, oh my God. And I was like, oh my God.
Hayley and I weren't confused.
No, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, what was it? A week ago, Kevin Feige's like, if Matt Murdock was going to return to the universe, then Charlie Cox
would
is
be
our.
Charlie Cox.
I'm like, okay, so he's in Spider-Man, is what you're saying, But I've also heard that he's going to appear in She-Hulk, maybe like the She-Hulk series as a regular character. So, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited and I'm happy and I loved every single part of it. I just wish I would have been surprised by any of that stuff. Like I wasn't spoiled technically, but I just wasn't surprised because I knew what was going to happen. So
Makes sense. AZ Deadpool, initial reactions.
Kind of along the same lines of that. I had seen some spoilers online, mild ones, but me personally, I was still like blown away. It exceeded my expectations because it was. I think it was kind of on the bubble. Like, are they in it or aren't they? But as time went on, more like started happening and everything like that. And there was one thing in particular that kind of made me doubt that it might be Toby and Andrew may not be in there. In that someone had posted, I think back in August, about a Target exclusive like figure, and it was of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, but it was an updated one, and like about 2 months later in October, like it turned out to be fake. So
Interesting.
that kind of like threw me off. Like, wait,
Yeah.
does that mean are they not really in the movie and everything like that? But other than that, seeing them like on screen, interacting with Tom Holland and everything like that was just amazing. The only bad thing was that it left me wanting more of the three of them.
Yep.
So
And I don't think that's probably going to happen anytime.
well,
lot of work.
especially because now they have forgotten about
yeah,
Right.
Peter Parker. The funny thing to me was Andrew Garfield obviously was most recently Jonathan Larson in Tick, Tick, Boom. So when he came on the screen, that was like I was like, oh, Jonathan Larson. So, but he's been getting all of this like, award buzz and nominations and stuff. And I was like, he should get a freaking Oscar for every time they asked him about being in this movie. And he said no. Because he sold it pretty freaking well.
did.
I mean, we all knew he was lying, but still, he sold it pretty
The
well.
amount of lying that these actors went through was so impressive in the lead up to these movies. I don't think Tobey Maguire has had an on-screen role since 2014. I mean, he's done like voice acting here and there, but he hasn't had like a live action role in years. Personally, so this was my second time seeing it. My husband and I saw it on Friday night. I couldn't wait, y'all. I had to go do it. And I was obsessed. I thought about it all day, all night after seeing it. I was not surprised that Andrew and Toby showed up. I expected them to be there. I heard rumors that, Charlie Cox was going to show up, but when he came on screen and that initial time I saw it, I screamed. I was like, oh my God, Matt Murdock's here. I was like squeezing my husband's hand. And, when Andrew and Toby came on, the entire theater screamed, but it wasn't like shocking. It was like, they finally showed up. But I mean, I freaking loved it. I was obsessed. Man, I definitely teared up. Ooh, we got to go through.
Okay.
Who cried? Who cried?
It was coming, but I, did the thing where you like suck in your tears, like when you just like stiff your face.
I'm a man.
I've become like really good at disassociating, you guys. So like I was watching it and I was like, I'm somewhere nice and sunny on a beach. Like I've become
Aunt
really
May's
good.
not dead.
I've become really good at it. Like it's probably like if I was in therapy, like we would be talking about it.
Or maybe you're just cold-hearted.
That too.
On this next episode of Pop Culture Junkie Podcast. Why can't Hayley feel her
wrong?
feelings?
I told you guys I wasn't going to cry or have any emotion towards it, and I didn't.
You cried during the cartoon Spider-Verse?
Yes. What?
What? It's a
God!
cartoon.
If anything, Nicole should watch that one because you don't need to know anything about anybody's Spider-Man and like watch that one and still get the whole like multiverse.
That's true. I mean, Spider-Ham shows up, and I mean,
You cried in a movie with a spider pig.
It was beautiful. There's so many emotions.
I did not.
Speaking of the cartoon one and like the meme going around, all them pointing at each other, they should have done that in the movie.
They did.
They did? Oh.
They did
I
in
feel
the
like the whole
lab.
movie was that.
Yeah, they did in the lab. They were all pointing, and I hit my
Okay, never
husband
mind.
and my buddy, and I was like, "They're doing the meme.
they're pointing.
They're
Never
pointing at
mind.
each other."
I missed it too.
I cried when MJ fell off of the building,
It was coming.
Oh my God! And then,
Connor.
God, even from the previews, I was telling people, I bet you anything that Andrew Garfield Spider-Man is going to be the one to catch her. And when he comes down and catches her, and then, "Are you okay?" And she goes, "Are you okay?" Oh my God, I cried.
Right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is going to move me into my next section because I just looked over at Nicole. And, this is a special segment of Pop Culture Junkie Podcast called Questions from Nicole. So, Nicole,
Yeah.
anything? Her question is just,
Well,
what?
she looked at me before we sat down, and she's like, "I don't even know what to ask because I don't even know what was
like,
going on."
I really don't have questions. It's more so like I was just confused, like I said, the entire time. I guess my questions were like, I guess we're not going to go through everyone because that will take time, but the other, what are they, heroes?
Villains.
Okay, villains. How they all were incorporated into this movie and what do they mean to Spider-Man?
It's good. That's a good question.
That is a good question.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Hayley.
So basically you have Tobey Maguire's version of Spider-Man, and he had villains from his universe. So you had the Sandman was one of his villains, and you had the Green Goblin, and then Doc Ock. Those were all villains from his movies. And the Green Goblin in particular, like he was friends with that family. When he talks about his best friend who died in his arms after trying to kill him, that was the Green Goblin's son. And so like that's a
James
really,
Franco just
I just
put a
felt
face
that
to it.
emotion just now. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
So there was a like strong connection there, which I think made it more significant. Knowing that makes it more significant when he saves him, helps save him at the end. And then Andrew Garfield's villains were the Lizard, which what is his character name?
Connor? Dr. Connor?
Dr. Connor. Yeah,
Yeah.
I never saw that second Amazing
The
Spider-Man.
Lizard is definitely a forgettable villain.
Yeah,
in the
and then Electro was also one of Andrew Garfield's villains. So, but yeah, I think them being brought in. One thing that I had a question about was how is it that like they talked about, oh, it was right before I died, like I got pulled here, but then Tobey Maguire gets pulled in and he's older.
Yeah.
And thankfully, my buddy Eric had read a bunch of stuff and it was like, I'll try to recap you real quick before you do the podcast. He was saying that they got pulled from different points in time. It wasn't from the exact same point, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Why Doc Ock would be like, oh, you've grown or whatever. Because I was like, are we trying to pretend like Tobey Maguire is not 20 years older than he was last time?
I know. I was like, are they going to de-age him? And then I looked at him and I was like, no, he's definitely aged. He's aged very well and gracefully. But like, no, he's the age of the person of, what Tobey Maguire would be now. So I guess early 40s. But
Also, why 20 years later is his relationship with MJ still complicated?
yeah.
What was that?
He said, it's complicated. But then he's like, we made it work. So I'm like, are you guys just boning then? Are you just casually boning MJ? Like,
We made it work. We're friends with benefits.
it's a little
20 years
complicated,
strong.
but we made it work.
I know. I don't know. That was a weird line. I don't know.
If Peter B from Into the Spider-Verse can make it work with his MJ, then why can't Toby? Like, why can't he make it work?
That's true. That's
Man,
true.
because he did those awkward pelvic thrusty dance moves in Spider-Man 3, and she can't forget. Thank
you for reminding
the rest
me.
of us.
Thank you for reminding me. I was disappointed that Topher Grace's Venom wasn't brought in.
Oh man.
I just wanted Bully Maguire to make an appearance.
Oh my gosh. I did think at the end that they killed Toby when he got stabbed by
I
the
was
Green
gonna be
Goblin.
so mad.
And I was having like Force Awakens Han Solo flashbacks all over again. And I honestly, I was about to like burn the theater down. I was like, Disney needs to quit ruining my childhood.
I thought that in the car on the way home. I was like, Haley's going to see this and be like, they killed Han Solo and now they're going to kill Spider-Man.
Immediately, the first thing that came to my head, I was really glad.
Something else I want to point out, Nicole. So when I said I cried when MJ fell and then Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man, caught her, in his Spider-Man movie, it's this iconic scene from the comic books. Gwen Stacy is falling down a clock tower, and Spider-Man shoots his web at her, and he's trying to catch her. And right at the end, she hits her head on the pavement or snaps her neck and dies in his arms. He's unable to save her, and it's this ridiculously tragic scene in the comic books, and then they recreated it in the movie. Mm-hmm. So that's when he says, I wasn't able to save Gwen, and that's why we all cried, because he finally caught her.
Yeah, I kind of figured, because when they were in the room, the science room or whatever, the lab, and he was like, yeah, she died. And then I figured, and then I just kind of looked at articles before and saw that, well, I guess this is kind of maybe going into our next segment, the Easter eggs and stuff, that in his movie, it's kind of like almost the same cinematography in the movies and how they were falling.
It is. It's very focused on Emma Stone's face in that movie, and just like her reaction of kind of realizing that her death is impending, and just like the falling. And that was the same shot with Zendaya, just like on her face.
So is Spider-Verse, the cartoon, considered part of the MCU?
Ooh, that's a great question. I'm not sure.
I'm assuming no, but who knows at this point? Because now that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are now like canon into the MCU,
Yeah.
who knows?
So, because obviously we had the nod to Miles Morales in this movie, and
There's got to be a Black Spider-Man somewhere.
My thought is you can't bring in an unless we get all like Space Jam, which I don't want. You can't bring in like an animated Spider-Man, but would it?
That'd be cool. I mean, that'd be cool. I think I heard there was an interview with Tom Holland and Zendaya, and they were pretty much begging to be in the next Spider-Verse. They were like, well, like, get us in there. It would be cool. So
Animate us.
I don't know.
I would assume that they would make it live action, much like it kind of seems like they brought. If we all watched What If and we watched the Doctor Strange trailer just then, it seems like that might be that evil Doctor Strange that we saw in What If. So we're going to do a live action version of Miles Morales, and he's just going to look a lot like he did in the cartoon.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I've heard rumors that there's like a live action Miles has been cast for a while, and that they're just like keeping it like very tightly under wraps and everything like that.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, for real.
Well, and I know we're going to get into the kind of what's coming next here in a second, but I'm very glad I watched What If, because it made me really excited for that Doctor Strange trailer. But it also, now the Doctor Strange trailer has made me very excited to see who else from What If we might get in. Like, are we going to get zombies? Because that would be super cool. Or
I
are
heard
we
that
going to
there's
get
a show that was greenlit on Disney Plus that's Marvel Zombies.
That's awesome. And like Captain Carter, like bring more of that into my life would be great. So I don't know.
I've also heard the rumor that since Sam Raimi is directing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, that we might see Toby's Spider-Man again.
Oh, interesting.
Whoa.
That is a tasty little
Well, yeah, he
tidbit.
now knows that there's other Spider-Men.
Let's talk some of the Easter eggs that we saw, because I know there was a lot throughout there. There was a lot of little nods here and there to the other films, things that, I mean, you probably wouldn't catch unless you were saw the other films from all the previous years. I mean, I guess one that I thought was kind of goofy, but that I really liked was when Dr. Osborn goes, "I'm a bit of a scientist myself, you know," and I was like, we all remember that one.
Acknowledge the meme.
Yes.
Yeah.
What else did you guys catch in there?
I mean, really just like all the nods to Iron Man, Tony Stark, like the arc reactor and all that stuff. And then the constant mentions of the blip and like what, the effects of being gone for 5 years and Thanos and all that kind of stuff.
Right?
So.
Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme. Good for him.
Which really, though, makes a lot of sense because Doctor Strange is a bad sorcerer.
He's a little irresponsible.
Kind of sucks.
I don't know if this is 100% true or not, but because this is my second time seeing the movie, and I noticed once Toby came through the portal, he kind of had a little bit of a look with Ned's like grandma. And,
Yeah.
And then I like beforehand, like a couple days ago, I saw that apparently it's the same actress who played the Spider-Man song on the violin in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
I wonder. That's
cool.
interesting.
If that is true, that would make sense as to why they kind of had a little bit of a moment where it looked like they had a little interaction.
I kind of recognize you. I like at the end, it really took me back to Tobey Spider-Man when he's living in that kind of shitty apartment and the guy kept begging him for the rent. And that kind of looks like what our, Peter kind of moved into. And so that reminded me a lot of it. And obviously, I wonder if Tobey Spider-Man would ever turn on the news and see J. Jonah Jameson and be like, wait a minute. I kind of know that guy.
Oh my gosh, I haven't hated J.K. Simmons so much since freaking Invincible and Omni-Man.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, why do I hate you so much?
I loved how he was such an Alex Jones. He even had the supplements that he was trying to sell.
Supplements. I was dying.
The Daily Bugle supplement.
Oh my gosh. The whole time I was thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, all my relatives on Facebook would be eating up J. Jonah Jameson right now. They'd be posting stuff like, have you seen this? I'd be like, calm down, Aunt Karen.
I heard Spider-Man's not even from America.
Well, and then all the like anti, Peter Parkers and anti-Spider-Man people, it reminded me of like in Hawkeye, he's in the bathroom stalls and he sees Thanos was right, and he's got the mug and he's drinking out. And I'm like, if this was real, like we see firsthand, it's very, we live in a polarizing world. There would be people siding with the villain.
There would absolutely be misinformation flying everywhere that people would be believing in message boards and Facebook groups.
I love that they use TikTok to like find the villains. It's like, that'd be Nicole. She'd be like, if I was Spider-Man, Nicole would be my TikToker who's helping me find the bad guy.
She'd be the girl in the chair and be like, I'll track him down in 2 seconds. # Green Goblin. There he is.
Wait, okay, I do have another question.
All right.
I just thought of it.
Okay.
Yeah. Like we said, I have no background. I have 2 questions, I guess. This one's leading up to my second question if it's a yes.
Okay, part A and part B.
Yes, so part A, is Captain America and Spider-Man, are they both Marvel?
Yes.
Okay, so another question, which might be completely stupid and not relevant.
It's okay,
Was
love it.
there like a Captain America thing on the Statue of Liberty, or was that like the
There
shield?
sure was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I am
Look at
glad
you
that it fell
catching
into
things.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad it fell into the ocean because that would have been very tacky. And I was thinking about it in the shower the other day. I was like, Steve Rogers would have hated that. Yeah. Oh my God.
I almost wonder if that was during the like Walker's Captain America era. You know what I mean? The John Walker era. Because that's something that they would have totally done when they're trying to sell this new cap to
Oh
everybody.
yeah, he would have loved it. Steve would have been like, take that down, please, for the love of God.
Yeah, and there's no way that Falcon's like, yes, put that up there. That's great. No way. I don't know. I had a couple thoughts during this. One was that teenagers are really the worst. Like, if they would have just listened, and I know like the moral of the story, and I know, Aunt May's lesson about responsibility, and fantastic. That's great. I was so on Doctor Strange's side from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Like, none of this would have happened if you just would have dealt with the consequences of your own actions and seen it through,
Yeah.
like your life wasn't falling apart because you didn't get into MIT, dude. Like, I didn't go to MIT. I'm fine. Like, calm down. So that was one thing where I was like, and then it just reminded me that like the Avengers constantly orchestrate their own demise, like over. And then I was like, he really is Tony's protege, because we wouldn't have had Age of Ultron without Tony Stark and his stupidity.
They create a lot of their own enemies and problems a lot, and then people prop them up for stopping the enemies that they
Hawkeye
created.
even. I mean, the whole Hawkeye series is all about Ronin and how if he hadn't gone crazy as Ronin, like, we wouldn't be in this situation now. So
That makes me wonder, like, so you know how Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire had their own villains that they were like physically like seeing and like fighting? Tobey Maguire was in his universe battling himself.
Damn.
How deep that is?
That's super
What's
deep, man.
going on here?
I mean, he kind of was in the third movie because he got injected with like
Yeah.
the Venom symbiote and turned into. I wish everybody could see
Emo
us right now.
Spider-Man.
Emo Spidey. God, I wish they would have brought back Emo Spidey.
But your point on the criticism and everything like that with Tom Holland Spider-Man, and I know even in the beginning, like when I like in the different like magazine covers from the Daily Bugle, it said like Iron Boy Jr. And I know that's been like a heavy like criticism of the movies and everything like that. I think in this one they kind of stripped that away now because Damage Control seized all of Stark's tech and everything
Yeah,
away from him. Now he's on his own. He's in an apartment and everything. He's making his own suits.
He's
now.
got a shiny, sparkly suit.
I know, I love it. It reminds me of the dance costumes I used to wear back in the day. But yeah, they don't even mention Tony's name that I can recall from this movie. I mean, they might say like Iron Man and Happy says, I lost a friend, but they're not like, so heavy as it was in Far From Home where they're like, Tony had just died and they were kind of coping with it.
And I think, I think he kind of rounds out that like living in Tony's shadow a little bit by making that final sacrifice at the end, just like Tony did.
Yeah.
It's like Tony made the ultimate sacrifice. Now Peter has done that and is now having to carve out his own path. Like what he learned from Tony has now come full circle and he's able to like move on.
And I think that's kind of something that a lot of people are gonna like really enjoy about this movie that didn't enjoy from the other two, and that he's essentially going to be his own Spider-Man.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if he's going to get a job at the Daily Bugle taking pictures of Spider-Man. I think we have to mention one of the biggest, Easter eggs or things that carried over was the with great power comes great responsibility. I mean, it could have been so cheesy for her to say that to him, but I feel like it wasn't in that moment. It was what he really needed to hear. So I love that all three of them had somebody say that to them.
I got to give credit to Marissa Tomei too, because I feel like this was like the most meaningful too, because she, unlike Uncle Ben, who dies at the like beginning and kickstarts the whole kind of Spider-Man thing, she's been here throughout,
Shaping him.
Yeah, so I feel like it was even.
It has a better like emotional impact and everything because like we people who have read the comics like know the impact it has on him when Uncle Ben says it, especially in Tobey's like Spider-Man. But Marissa Tomei having like the first two movies with Tom Holland, I think it kind of delivers a bit of a bigger emotional impact on him.
Completely. I mean, R.I.P. Hottie Aunt May. Jeez.
Man, I love her.
I do too.
Not as much as Happy loves her, but
Poor Happy. He lost his best friend and now he lost.
his life sucks. Oh my gosh, and his name's Happy. Like what?
Now sad. Or happy is sad.
He's going to change his name to.
Oh, what if we get emo Happy? Like he's the one dancing with the black hair in the next movie.
God, it's just something for Happy. Something good for Happy needs to happen in the next movie. Something to make him happy. And that is the end of the show. Let's talk about what's coming next for Peter Parker and about those, those end credit scenes that we saw. What's next for our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man?
I've seen differing things like going back and forth on like Tom Holland's actual contract, and I think Amy Pascal had like kind of misspoke and said like, yes, they're like there's a new trilogy coming and they're actively developing Spider-Man 4 right now, but I think she misspoke on Tom Holland whether or not he's going to come into that or not. I think it would be kind of a mistake if they don't bring him back. But at the same time, I feel like the end of this movie, it seems like they've almost written him off to where they don't necessarily need him to come back, but it would be a big mistake if they didn't, because I want to see what's next for him now.
I think he's going to come back. I think they left it pretty clear that like he has to come back. Maybe he'll be the mentor for Miles.
I could definitely.
And I really want him and MJ and Ned all to reunite and have that moment.
Well, Ned is now set up as, potentially like a protege for Stephen Strange, or for Wong. And that's really interesting to me because at first I was like, oh, it's not Ned. It's just like the ring that he has. But then when Strange comes back, he kind of gives him that nod oh, okay, interesting. So I feel like to do that and to give him that power to set him up and then to just be like, bye, is kind of, it's kind of a waste, It's like watching freaking the end of the Iron Fist series with Connie as a new Iron Fist, and then I got taken away.
Connie. It could have been so good.
I know, like,
It could have.
I also know, I'm sorry, I didn't know, I've also known that Tom Holland has said he doesn't want to be playing Spider-Man into his 30s and everything like that. And that's understandable because...
Hurry, someone Google, how old is Tom Holland?
I think that's pretty much now. Like he's almost
24.
30, right?
Oh, he's 25. We have a couple more years.
Yeah.
Because when you're in a role like that and you're like contracted for like 3 more movies, it kind of like it eats up your life.
I
And
mean, look at Tobey Maguire. His back was in pain the entire time.
exactly.
That was a good Easter egg,
was the
too.
funniest thing I have ever seen, the back cracking. I was like, oh my gosh. And not in a million years did I think I was going to sit down in this movie tonight and watch Spider-Man cracking each other's backs. I was like, what is happening right now?
It was such a cute throwback to Tobey Maguire going, my back, and Spider-Man too.
So funny.
I think that we really do need Tom Holland back. We need to resolve this story. His friends need their memories back somehow. Also, I mean, we saw a little bit of the Venom symbiote was left behind at that bar. First of all,
I could not care less about that.
same. I don't know why they're trying so hard to bring... I think it's pretty clear now that it won't be Tom Hardy because he's the Venom from another universe. But there will be some type of Venom in Tom Holland's universe.
See, I got confused with that. 'Cause I liked the first Venom. I saw the second one, and now I'm. Anyways,
You sold me on it.
Exactly.
why was
Why was he there?
Yeah, because who's Peter there?
Exactly.
No, I don't know. I don't know.
So the people who were brought in were
Don't think about it.
Don't think about it too deep, man. The people who were brought in were supposedly people who knew that Peter Parker was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Venom didn't know that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. Electro didn't know that Peter Parker was Spider-Man.
No, pulled from different points in time. So the point in time that we saw them, they didn't know that. But at the point in time in which they were pulled into the universe, they did know that. Hence why Electro looked so different and whatever. He was pulled from a different something.
But he also was surprised that Spider-Man wasn't black. So did he know who
So
he
maybe,
was?
yeah. So maybe he didn't even.
I mean, I understand that feeling. Like you see your hero and you take off your mask and like, damn, I wish you. I get it.
You should have been black.
I mean, there is one, so we're good.
There is,
True.
and we're going to see him soon.
And I think that's the route that I would like to see it go. I'd like to see maybe Tom take a break and us get Miles and then Tom come back at some point.
I think, and possibly like the next trilogy coming out, like it could potentially be like Tom, like maybe passing the torch to another Spider-Man, like another Miles or something like that.
Interesting. And fighting whoever they end up casting as Venom, who goes to that bar in Mexico.
It
And
just makes me think, why at the end of Let There Be Carnage, why would Sony tease that, like an interaction with Tom Hardy and Tom Holland Spider-Man, and then just no?
that was the only,
Sony-
Oh, that's right. Because at that end, they were. Where were they? Weren't they somewhere too?
So they were in a hotel room, and Venom was saying to,
Yeah, because it was on the TV.
what's his
or something.
name?
Eddie Brock.
Eddie, thank you. He was saying like, you wouldn't believe the things that I've seen. And then it kind of shows like that yellow light where they're being pulled into this universe. And at the time when people were watching this in theaters, they're like, what the F is going on? But now we know that it was because of the spell pulling Eddie into this universe. And then in the end, he gets pulled back. Why he was pulled there in the first place, I don't know. Mm-hmm. To drop some little Venom goo.
All right, so shifting gears from a character that sucks and into a character that's amazing. Despite the fact that he's terrible at his job, I love Doctor Strange so much, and I feel like he makes everything infinitely cooler. My favorite sequences in this movie were obviously when all 3 Spider-Men were on screen together, but then the Doctor Strange, like in the mirror.
Oh, this is so
the
cool.
mirror dimension.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, I just got so excited about the next movie and more of that. And then Wanda coming in and like, you guys know, like Wanda's my favorite character in the MCU. And so to have them together, I can't wait.
Yeah, Nicole, you watched WandaVision. Were you excited to see her pop up in the trailer?
Yeah, I was. That made me like maybe be interested. In
Yeah.
that
Your buddy
movie.
the elf, you're like, I know her.
Yeah, exactly.
The amount of like power that Wanda has and everything like that, and then seeing like her team up with Doctor Strange, that's something I really want to see.
Which makes sense because it's magic and magic.
And we haven't begun to even tap the surface of Wanda's powers, which because she now just realized that she's the
Scarlet
Scarlet
Witch.
Witch.
Yeah.
So Westview, as as crazy as that was, to know that that's just the beginning, the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, and the fact that Strange was like, oh yeah, Westview, that sucked. Anyway, let's something else we got to talk about.
I love it though. I love it. It's so him. It's so him. He's like, yeah, I've done worse. We've all done bad. Let's just move on.
Even with that spell with Wong, he's like, we've used it for less. Like,
yeah, did you remember that party? Exactly.
That's like, I have multiple parties that I don't remember either, but I didn't use a spell, so it's just...
See, and the thing too, the thing about Doctor Strange being the villain in his own movie is really interesting, because we're dealing with such powerful individuals who, at least for me, like, I love them so much and I have such an allegiance to them that even in WandaVision, to see, kind of Wanda be orchestrating all of this suffering for people, it's like, it's hard to
Her own
watch.
suffering, yeah.
So in this instance, to see... So if you haven't watched What If, Doctor Strange manipulates time to save his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And
it looks like she's getting married to somebody in this trailer, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, I don't know.
Something's going down.
So anyway, he jacks everything up by manipulating time, and he ends up absorbing the powers of like every creature in the universe to give him enough power to be able to do that, and then he becomes
real creepy and evil.
Extremely powerful, more powerful than any other being, and also evil. So,
yeah.
Oh, that guy makes sense now. I never finished watching whatever we're talking about.
What If? You should definitely watch that. That is probably, I wasn't a huge What If fan, but that episode is redonkulous.
Yeah, it sounds pretty dope.
Yeah, it's really good. And America Chavez looks like she's going to pop up in the Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. Like, I don't know who they cast to be her, but you see the back of her jacket a lot. So interested to see where they go with that.
there's endless potential with this idea of the multiverse and all the different characters that they can bring in. So
I hope we see Spider-Gwen at some point. I would be so excited. She's excited for Spider-Gwen. I see you, girl. I see you.
And I know people are talking about, like, obviously Fantastic Four and X-Men and all that kind of stuff. I mean, obviously you don't want it to be like too oversaturated with new characters or people that you don't know, or people that Nicole would be like, I don't know who that is. But I don't know, if Endgame taught us anything, it's kind of the more the merrier.
And I hope that each of these people and characters gets their own individual movies so we can learn about them and introduce them to a new generation of fans. So even if you didn't see all these different phases of the MCU, if Nicole jumps in now, she gets to see the origin story of the Fantastic Four and learn who they are. So she's not just like, I don't know why I should care about these people, because it'll be new.
Yeah.
And even if not a movie, like, there's Disney Plus now to where they could develop a show for it too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's been one of my favorite things about this phase, is being able to go back and get Black Widow and Hawkeye and Wanda and Vision, like the stories that they didn't get that we should have gotten.
Yeah, Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on Spider-Man No Way Home, you guys?
I want more of, like, Toby, Andrew, and Tom.
Yeah.
I loved all their interactions. I loved them hugging at the end. And you're in a lot of pain, aren't you? Yeah, I am.
That was like sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that the rooftop combo with, about Aunt May and about them losing, Uncle Ben and losing Gwen. Like, I don't know. I feel like that probably, especially in the time in which we live right now, and a lot of people have lost people that they love. I feel like that was really poignant.
Yeah.
And, talking about what can happen to you because of grief, and you can either let it
Consume
you, or let it transform you. And then at the end, when Peter, tells Happy, everything lives on because of what they did and the people that they loved and the people that they helped. And I feel like that was just a really good lesson always, but especially like right now.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I mean, and even seeing Toby stop, I know we keep calling them Toby and Tom, but it's Peter, and Peter. When Peter did this to Peter. So when, Toby stopped Tom from, killing Goblin, just like, this isn't how we use our grief. This is what we do. They kept saying that throughout the movie. It's what we do. We help people. It's what we do. Like,
I love Toby and that kind of, he was essentially like the mentor. I love that. And like, speaking of love, like when Andrew said like I love you to both of them, why didn't they say it back to him?
I know, it's like, you love him too.
Like, please say
They
it back
gave
to
him
him.
the thank you.
Please.
They
Thank
did the
you.
Han Solo. I know. I know.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking, like, how they were calling each other Peter 1, 2, and 3? I was like, why didn't they just call each other like Peter, Parker, and Pete?
Dang.
Like, that would have been a lot easier.
Listen, they were in a stressful situation. It's like that 90s show from Nickelodeon, Pete and Pete.
The nod to Sony not having the rights to the Avengers was amazing. When he's like,
Yeah.
you have the event. What is that?
That's amazing.
Are you in a band?
What is that? Earth's mightiest anyway.
Never mind.
Yeah, that
was great.
Toby's like direct or like delivery on that. Like, that's great. What is that?
He wanted
I'm
to be
so
supportive.
excited for you, and I have no idea what you're talking about. It's like when a little kid's like, and then I did this in this video game, and I collected this Pokemon. And you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
But I'm so happy.
But that's awesome, kid. Good job.
Nicole, are you excited to see more and to keep going with the MCU with us and kind of see where the universe goes? Like, how do you feel going forward with the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Yeah, I mean, I might go watch the previous Spider-Mans now, and then this movie would probably make a lot more sense to me now that I have seen this one. But also, this just popped in my head. Was this movie supposed to come out a lot earlier than it did, or no? Was this always the original date?
You know, I'm not sure. If anything, it probably
never
wasn't
mind. Then I'm
moved.
probably thinking of something completely different.
So I think it was, right?
I think everything got pushed back, obviously.
Maybe a little
but
bit.
not.
Okay, no, never mind. I think it was something else. 'Cause I thought another movie we were like anticipating. Maybe it was Black Widow. It was totally
Black Widow got
That
moved.
got
Yeah,
pushed
that
like
one
100
definitely
times.
did.
Okay,
Yeah.
backtrack. Totally.
I
Never
do
mind.
think that this movie takes place at the same time in the timeline as Hawkeye, though, because it's Christmas.
Hawk guy.
The hot guy.
Hot guy. The hot guy.
I did
show.
see like going back to like the rumors that Spider-Man may appear in this final episode of Hawkeye. Someone had put together like a screenshot of the promo for the final episode of Hawkeye with a tree in the background.
Yeah.
And then we see Peter swinging like towards the end here
Yeah.
with that same tree. So
I'm feeling
Yeah.
festive.
Absolutely.
Like, I love when this stuff's set at Christmas time. And I don't know if you guys saw Jeremy Renner's video. I think this episode is going to come out after Hawkeye comes out, so we'll all sound stupid if it doesn't happen. But Jeremy Renner
all sound stupid a lot anyway,
Jeremy Renner
so.
posted a video today that was like, wanted to wish a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to, the hardworking cast and crew. And he has the Ronin haircut. And everyone's like, what's going on? And some people were like, oh, it's an old video from when he filmed Endgame. And I'm like, that wouldn't make any freaking sense why he would post that now. But maybe it's a
Sometimes I
flashback.
repost content if I haven't taken a good selfie in a while.
He's like, my hair looked exceptional that day.
And I do think like he was swinging in the beginning and we saw a promo for Rogers the musical and that's something that they go to in the Hawk. Now I just want to say hot guy show. The Hawkeye show.
That's what we call it. That's what it is in our house now.
So it will be interesting to see where that goes. But I think that just about wraps it up for our spoiler cast. Anything else you guys want to
I just want to say, Scooby-Doo that shit.
please.
That's our new motto.
Please Scooby-Doo that shit.
Yes, please.
What are we Scooby doing?
Just this shit.
Can we Blue Skidoo it too?
Wait, were you not here for
I'm
that?
sorry, I
Did you
don't
come
think
in
he was
late?
here.
He came in late. He's like, what are you talking about?
Why are we
I know
Scooby-Dooing?
something Alex doesn't know about Spider-Man.
So a big shout out and thank you to AZ Deadpool. Thank you so much for joining us. You were a delight.
thank you for having me.
And let's all go through and tell the people where they can find us.
You can find me, Alex, at ALCASNUN on Twitter and Instagram.
You can find me, Nicole, on Instagram and TikTok at Nicole_Eldridge and on Twitter at NAEldridge14.
You can find me, Hayley, on Twitter at 30NerdyThriving and on Instagram. No, sorry. You can find me on Twitter at 30NerdyPod and on Instagram at 30NerdyThrive.
You can find me, Shauna Trinidad, at SHAUNATRINIDAD on Instagram and Twitter. And oh my gosh, let's all help each other remember the pop culture. Oh, yeah. And
AZ Deadpool.
Where can
they find
us?
you?
I'm mostly on Instagram at AZ Deadpool, all one word.
Easy enough. You can find the Pop Culture Junkies
At our website, www.popculturejunkie.com.
That's easy enough. That's where you can find all of our social handles because I don't want to rattle them all off right now at the top of my head.
One is like pop.culturejunkie, I think, on Instagram. Yeah, you can just find us
Just find us on our website. And on Facebook, please join the Pop Culture Junkie support group where we all chat about our favorite pop culture junkie things, movies, music, TV. We post lots of silly memes and all that good stuff. So please tune in next week for your another dose of pop culture.
Pop Culture Junkie is a production of Pop Culture Entertainment Group. All rights reserved.